Before we begin, I want to ask you to subscribe to the channel right now, like this video, and turn on the notification bell. Here, you will find content that not only inspires but truly transforms your vision about wealth, faith, and prosperity. This is not just about learning how to make money, but about understanding how to think, act, and vibrate in alignment with abundance. Many people have heard about the law of attraction, but few understand that it doesn't work in isolation. It needs the spiritual energy that faith carries. That is why so many people try to attract money and fail, because they rely only on technique, without activating the invisible fuel that drives it all, the conviction that the unseen will become seen. The truth no one tells you is that faith is not simply praying or repeating affirmations without belief. Faith is seeing before receiving, acting as if you already owned what you desire. Napoleon Hill once said that every great fortune begins with a burning desire, but that desire must be sustained by unwavering faith. When you ask for prosperity with fear, doubt, or the feeling that it is impossible, the universe responds to your doubt and not your request. But when you speak, feel, and act with absolute certainty, even without visible evidence, then energy begins to move in your direction. Faith works like a spiritual magnet, and money is only the natural result of that conviction. Many believe that to become rich, you only need to work hard. Work is important, but it is not the root of wealth. How many people do you know who work tirelessly yet still live in debt? The true cause of wealth is alignment between your conscious mind, your heart filled with faith, and the inspired action born from that combination. When you wake up in the morning with conviction that something good will happen, you start to see doors where before there were only walls. That vision is not coincidence. It is faith opening space for money to flow. This is why repeating affirmations is not enough. You must feel them as real. Faith transforms imagination into tangible reality. Faith is a universal principle recorded in sacred texts across cultures. Jesus said, "Everything is possible for the one who believes." This statement is not about religion, but about a universal law. The problem is that few practice faith as conviction. Most treat faith as a vague hope, almost like a spiritual lottery, but hope does not create wealth, only real faith does. When you say, "I know my prosperity already exists and is coming to me," you begin to vibrate at the frequency of money. And when your frequency changes, the right people appear, ideas emerge, business opportunities are revealed, and coincidences unfold everywhere. This is the part few reveal. Faith does not attract money itself. It attracts paths, contacts, ideas, and opportunities that result in money. If you haven't yet been able to attract abundance, it doesn't mean the law of attraction doesn't work. It simply means your faith is inconsistent. Imagine a radio trying to capture a station. If the signal is weak, all you hear is static. This is exactly what happens with your vibration. When your faith wavers, you send out mixed signals and receive mixed results. But when your faith is firm, clear, and confident, you transmit a powerful message that the universe responds to without delay. That is why some prosper in times of crisis, while others collapse. The secret is not outside of you, it is within. Wealth always begins in the invisible. In this video, I will reveal the practical steps to activate the kind of faith that truly attracts wealth. It is not about complicated rituals, but about aligning your mind and heart to operate in harmony with abundance. You will understand that faith is not only believing in God or the universe, but also believing that divine power acts through you. It is this fusion of spirituality and conscious action that creates extraordinary results. Get ready, because here is the truth no one tells you. Money is not attracted by desperation, but by conviction. Prosperity does not come from fear of lack, but from the certainty that abundance already exists and is waiting for you. True faith is not built overnight, but cultivated in every thought, word, and action. The majority of people sabotage themselves because they believe one moment and doubt the next. It is like planting a seed and then digging it up to see if it's growing. No harvest prospers that way. Money manifests only for those who plant conviction and water it daily with thoughts of abundance, words of confidence, and coherent actions. If you say you believe but act as if it were impossible, you cancel your own prayer. That's why the first key is aligning faith and behavior. If you declare prosperity but keep complaining and feeling like a victim of lack, you are sending contradictory signals. Faith is living as if it were already real. What no one tells you is that faith is not separate from money. Many think money is material and faith is spiritual, but in truth, both are expressions of energy. Money is simply energy materialized in the form of value exchange. Faith is the invisible force that shapes this energy. When you unite faith and money, there is no conflict, because both obey the same law. What you deeply believe tends to become your reality. That is why it is not wrong to desire wealth. What is wrong is living limited, denying the abundance the Creator has already made available. Faith does not mean accepting poverty as destiny, but seeing prosperity as a natural part of your spiritual inheritance. Many spiritual leaders tried to separate wealth from faith to keep people under control. But the real message has always been clear. The universe is abundant. Just look at nature. A tree doesn't produce only one fruit, but hundreds, thousands. The sea doesn't contain only a few drops, but an endless ocean. The air you breathe never runs out. This is the pattern of creation, abundance. If creation is abundant, why should you live in scarcity? The answer lies in your faith. When you believe you don't deserve it, or that prospering is wrong, you block the flow. When you believe prosperity is natural, you open the floodgates of the universe. That is the truth no one reveals. The blockage is not outside, but inside your mind. Now understand something powerful. Faith is not a fleeting emotion. It is a decision to believe even when there is no evidence, a decision to act as if you already owned what you desire, a decision to keep your thoughts fixed on abundance even when bills scream scarcity. This constant decision creates a magnetic field around you. It is like an antenna that pulls opportunities. People begin to seek you out. Businesses appear. Ideas arise in your mind. None of this happens by chance, but because your vibration of faith attracted it. Once you take hold of this truth, you stop begging for prosperity and start becoming its creator. Many still ask, if it is so simple, why do so many fail? Because they confuse faith with trying. Trying carries doubt. Faith carries certainty. When someone says, I will try to attract money, they are already affirming that they don't fully believe. But the one who has faith declares, I know money is already on its way, and I act as if it were real. That posture completely changes the energy. It is the same difference between an athlete who enters to compete and the one who enters to win. The energy of faith is victory before the race even begins. That is why spiritually aware millionaires have always affirmed, wealth is born first in the mind, sustained by faith, before appearing in the pocket. Every morning you need to ask yourself, what do I truly believe in? If you believe more in lack than in abundance, your day will be guided by scarcity. But if you believe there is a divine flow of money, your perception changes, your choices change, your vibration changes. And when you change, everything changes. Faith shapes your mental filter. While some see crisis, you see opportunity. While some see closed doors, you see open windows. While some give up, you persist. This is the invisible power that separates those who prosper from those who only dream. This is the hidden side of the law of attraction. It does not respond to what you superficially desire, but to what you deeply believe. At the core, what life asks you every day is this: do you really believe? Because if you believe, money will come through unexpected paths. If you don't, you will keep waiting. That is the truth no one tells you, but is available to anyone who dares to practice it. And remember, faith is not just about believing when everything is going well, but especially when everything seems to be falling apart. That is when your conviction is tested. The one who keeps faith in the midst of scarcity is the one who becomes capable of governing abundance. Because faith is not just about believing in the result, it is about believing in the process. If you look closely, you will notice that all the great men and women who built fortunes had one thing in common: unshakable faith. They didn't see obstacles as endings, but as tests. And this is where lies the difference between those who give up and those who achieve prosperity. Faith works like a lens that transforms problems into steps. When someone with faith sees difficulty, they understand it is only part of the process that will take them to another level. Those without faith see the same difficulty as an impenetrable wall. This perception creates different destinies. That's why some accumulate wealth while others remain stuck in scarcity. It's not the size of the challenge that matters, but the size of your conviction when facing it. Now, there is a spiritual truth almost never taught. Money is not the end, it is a consequence. The true end is faith activated. Many want wealth first to then believe they are blessed, but the flow works the other way. Believe first. Live the emotion of abundance first. Feel gratitude for what has not yet arrived. That is the secret that moves the unseen. The universe responds to vibrations, not complaints. It does not connect with despair, but with certainty. If you are desperate, you vibrate lack. If you are confident, you vibrate abundance. And what you vibrate multiplies. That explains why people afraid of losing money end up losing it, while people confident they will always have it keep attracting more. Faith also cannot be selective. You cannot believe only when everything seems right. True faith is believing when there is no visible sign. It's when the bills are high, when the account balance is negative, when nothing seems to work, and yet you decide to keep your conviction firm that abundance is already yours. It's at that point that the invisible begins to become visible. Money doesn't appear from nowhere, but opportunities do. Someone calls you for a job, a partnership arises, an idea surfaces in your mind. That is faith manifesting. It doesn't drop cash from the sky, but opens doors that were hidden. Abundance is not created, it already exists. And faith is the code that grants access. Another secret is that faith and gratitude walk together. The more you are grateful for what you have, the more you expand your capacity to receive. Ingratitude closes doors. Gratitude opens windows. And gratitude is not only for what you already possess, but especially for what has not yet arrived. When you thank in advance, you are declaring your faith. You are telling the universe, I know I have already received, I'm just waiting for delivery time. This posture creates a powerful shortcut. While others wait to give thanks afterward, you thank before and vibrate as if you already had it. And that accelerates attraction. A key point few reveal is that faith must be anchored in inspired action. It's not enough to believe without acting, nor to act without believing. The combination of both creates extraordinary results. When you believe something will work and take steps, even small ones, in that direction you send a message to the universe. I am ready to receive. It's like saying, I trust so much that I'm already acting as if it were real. This attitude opens doors that would stay shut for passive people. Money never comes to those who wait sitting, but to those who walk with conviction. Faith is the engine, action is the steering wheel. One without the other goes nowhere, but together they take you straight to prosperity. Notice that everything we are discussing requires consistency. Faith cannot be a one-time event. It must be a continuous state of spirit. Believing strongly one day and doubting the next destroys your attraction field. It's like turning a light on and off constantly. You never illuminate anything for real. But when the light stays on, the path becomes clear. The same is true with faith. When constant, it illuminates opportunities. When unstable, it leaves everything in darkness. The universe responds to what is firm, not what wavers. So if you want to attract money with faith, you must decide once and for all. I will believe and sustain that conviction until it becomes reality. There is an essential key almost no one teaches. True faith does not depend on external circumstances. It comes from within you and stays firm regardless of the situation. Many believe they first need to see signs of prosperity to then believe, but that is the path of doubt, not faith. Genuine faith is believing before seeing. It is declaring wealth even when your bank account is empty. It is affirming abundance even when debts seem overwhelming. It is smiling and giving thanks for what has not yet arrived, as if it were already in your hands. This is not illusion. It is reality programming. The human mind is a projector, and what you project internally eventually materializes externally. If you project faith and abundance, the outer scene adapts to that energy. But pay attention, faith is not denying reality. It does not mean ignoring bills or pretending problems don't exist. It means facing reality with a higher perspective, knowing it is temporary and that the flow of prosperity is on its way. When you look at a difficulty and say, "I know this will be resolved because abundance is flowing to me," you shift your vibration. And when vibration changes, solutions appear. People without faith only see the obstacle. People with faith see the obstacle as an opportunity for manifestation. That is the crucial difference. Faith is the ability to see beyond what eyes show. Another point rarely discussed is that faith is not only mental, it is emotional and spiritual. It is possible to repeat positive phrases without feeling anything, and that brings no results. But when you feel with intensity, when you let the emotion of certainty flood your heart, then your vibration reaches another level. Emotion is the language the universe understands. It is as if faith were energy and emotion the volume of the signal. The stronger you feel, the louder the universe responds. That is why merely repeating words doesn't attract prosperity, but deeply feeling as if you already had the money creates the real connection. Money does not respond to empty words, but to emotions filled with certainty. Faith also requires mental discipline. Every day your mind will try to distract you with doubts, negative news, and disbelieving people. You must protect your faith like you would guard a treasure. Avoid conversations that drain your energy. Stay away from chronic complainers and replace thoughts of lack with declarations of abundance. This discipline builds a magnetic field so strong that nothing can break it. Often money doesn't come, not because you lack faith, but because you contaminate it with daily doubts. It is like filling a bucket with clean water and dropping in a little poison. The water is no longer pure, so is your faith. It must remain clean, free from disbelief. Here is another important revelation. Faith generates inspired action, and action confirms faith. Imagine someone who believes they will prosper, but never takes a single step. That person is just dreaming. But another who believes and starts moving, even without knowing exactly how things will unfold, is showing the universe their confidence. And the universe responds to this boldness. That is when opportunities arise because you are vibrating and acting at the same frequency. Faith without action is dead, and action without faith is empty. But when both unite, prosperity has no choice but to manifest. You may have noticed that people with true faith have a different posture. They don't panic, they don't play the victim, they don't blame the government, the economy, or family. They simply keep an inner certainty that inspires confidence in others. That confidence is contagious, opens doors, and creates alliances. That's why so often money arrives through unexpected connections. People want to be close to those who radiate faith because everyone seeks safety and strength. Your faith, therefore, not only attracts prosperity to you, but also makes others want to join your journey. What no one tells you is that faith is not just personal, it is magnetic. It draws people, situations, and resources aligned with your conviction. Therefore, understand, attracting money with faith is not superstition or fantasy. It is applied spiritual science. It is aligning your mind, emotion, and action in the same direction. It is deciding to believe, feel with intensity, and act accordingly. When you do this, money stops being a struggle and becomes a consequence. You no longer chase it desperately because it starts chasing you. That is the truth few reveal. Faith transforms you into a living magnet of prosperity. Many still think faith is something distant, reserved for monks or religious leaders, but the truth is that faith is practical, everyday, applicable in any financial situation. Faith is present when you decide to start a business without having all the answers, when you invest in a project trusting it will work, when you study something new believing it will change your future. Attracting money with faith is exactly understanding that every small decision guided by conviction creates a powerful effect in the flow of abundance. What differentiates those who prosper from those who remain in lack is that some base their decisions on fear, while others base them on faith. Fear paralyzes, faith moves. Fear closes doors, faith opens paths. Fear limits, faith expands. Notice how many times you had opportunities but gave up because you thought you weren't capable or didn't have the conditions. That is negative faith, faith in scarcity, because believing in lack is also a form of faith, just directed the wrong way. You project your energy into what you don't have, and as a result, you get more lack. That's why it's crucial to invert this mentality. Instead of believing in the problem, decide to believe in the solution. Instead of focusing on what you lack, focus on what is already on its way. When you put your faith in the positive unseen, reality begins to shape itself to match. This is a secret seldom said. We all have faith, but some apply it to fear while others to abundance. The choice is yours. Another aspect that strengthens your faith is learning to use imagination as a creative tool. When you visualize the life you desire, with wealth, peace, and freedom, you are sending an order to the universe. The difference between fantasizing and visualizing is emotion. Fantasy is weak, without force. Visualization loaded with faith is powerful because you feel every detail as real. Smell the new car, touch the texture of the money, feel the joy of paying bills easily, the relief of seeing extra at the end of the month, the emotion of achieving a dream. The more real this inner experience, the faster your vibration aligns with the outcome. The universe does not distinguish between something that has already happened and something vividly felt as true. Practicing faith also means trusting divine timing. Many give up because they don't see immediate results, but the truth is that every seed has its germination period. A fruit tree doesn't grow overnight, but those who plant and water patiently will harvest. In due time, it's the same with money. When you plant thoughts of abundance, feelings of faith, and coherent actions, you can be sure the harvest will come. The mistake is pulling the seed too soon out of impatience. Those who trust understand the unseen is already working in their favor, even if their eyes can't yet see. This trust sustains you through the process. And remember, money is not just for paying bills. It is an instrument of expansion. Used wisely, it amplifies your ability to help, fulfill dreams, and create experiences. Faith does not attract money only to accumulate, but to fulfill purpose. When you connect your prosperity to something bigger, your faith gains even more strength, because the universe favors those who want to bless others. That's why spiritually conscious millionaires say, Prosperity is not about having more, but being more, serving more, touching more lives. When your faith aligns with a noble purpose, your attraction multiplies. Therefore, the practical application is simple yet powerful. Every day, declare your abundance, visualize your wealth, feel as if it were already real, give thanks in advance, and act in accordance with your faith. Push doubt away, protect your mind from voices of scarcity, and keep your convictions strong. Money cannot resist such a magnetic field. It will come through unexpected paths, in surprising ways, at the perfect time. That is the truth no one tells you. Attracting money with faith is not magic, but spiritual science that works every time you practice it consistently. We now arrive at the conclusion, and perhaps this is the most important part of all. The faith that attracts money is not distant, unattainable, or too mysterious. It is inside you, waiting to be activated with consistency and courage. The truth no one tells you is that prosperity has always been available, but doubt blocks its arrival. As long as you believe you cannot, that you don't deserve it, or that it is too hard, you will block the flow. But the moment you decide to believe, feel, and act as if abundance were already real, everything begins to change. Faith opens invisible doors, connects you with the right people, awakens dormant ideas, and speeds up opportunities already around you. Understand this: faith doesn't eliminate challenges, but transforms your posture toward them. The person of faith does not despair over an unexpected bill, but declares, "This is only a detail on the path to my prosperity." The person of faith doesn't cry because results haven't yet appeared, but gives thanks for what is on its way. The person of faith doesn't wait idly, but acts courageously, knowing every step will be sustained by the energy of abundance. That is the difference between those stuck in cycles of lack and those who break through scarcity. Faith is the key that opens the spiritual vault of wealth. And it's not only about money. Money is just a manifestation. True faith attracts health, relationships, opportunities, peace of mind. But when applied to finances, it has the power to completely transform your life. Imagine waking up each day knowing your prosperity doesn't depend only on the market, the economy, or others' opinions, but on your own conviction. Imagine looking back at your past financial problems and realizing they were merely tests preparing you to handle abundance. Imagine living without fear of lack because you know the source never runs dry. That state of mind is the true wealth. The money that comes later is only consequence. You may be asking, so what should I do from now on? The answer is both simple and profound. Decide to believe. Decide to live as if you already had it. Decide to thank for what hasn't yet arrived. Decide to shield your mind from doubt, and decide to act consistently with your faith. This decision changes everything. Each day, strengthen that mental state, visualize your prosperity, feel abundance, declare your wealth, and take actions that reflect this certainty. Don't wait for signs to believe. Believe, and signs will come. Don't wait for money to give thanks. Give thanks, and money will appear. Don't wait for opportunities to fall from the sky. Move, and opportunities will emerge. Money is drawn to faith like iron to a magnet, and when your faith is true, constant, and unshakable, there is no resisting it. Prosperity becomes a natural consequence of your vibration. This is the truth no one tells you, but it has been hidden in all spiritual messages, in the teachings of masters, and even in the words of great millionaires who understood the human mind. Faith is the invisible currency that purchases everything in the spiritual realm and turns it into material reality. And now I want you to carry this powerful reflection. If your financial life has not been what you desired until today, it doesn't mean abundance doesn't exist. It only means you haven't yet activated your faith at the right level. From this day on, you have a choice. Continue as you are, or completely transform the way you relate to wealth. The choice is yours. And remember, when you decide to truly believe, the entire universe conspires in your favor. Before ending, I invite you, subscribe to the channel right now, like this video, and share it with someone who needs this message. Leave a comment too. Have you ever experienced a situation where faith completely changed your finances? I'd love to know your story. Together, we can create a chain of faith and prosperity that transforms thousands of lives. Because the truth is this: money is not attracted by desperation, but by unshakable faith. And once you discover this, nothing can stop you from living the abundance that has always been destined for you.